Hello gamers, Matthew here from Grey Army Gaming. In a previous video, I walked you through the process of how I was able to pick up 1,000 magic cards at a very affordable price, and I suggested that these magic cards can work really well as you run a solo role-playing game or solo role-playing campaign. For this video, what I would like to do now is to look at a few of these cards and to show you how the pictures can really help you as prompts for your solo role-playing. In my hands, I have pulled out just a few of the 1,000 cards that have some interesting pictures, and I thought what we could do now is to brainstorm a little bit for how these pictures can serve as interesting prompts for your narrative arc. So let's walk through these one at a time. The picture Sandstorm, this is really cool. I mean, we have a really awesome picture here. I mean, you could start a campaign with a sandstorm, or you could even say that a sandstorm comes up, and that could really throw a wrench into your particular game. Dire Mimic, this is cool now. You may have your adventurers come into a room and open up a specific wardrobe, and suddenly they are attacked by the wardrobe. That's really cool. I like this, Ill-Gotten Inheritance. Now this could be a really cool hook to start a game off. Maybe that your main character has received some money somehow from a family member, or maybe there is some other workings in the family that has gone on that has led to them receiving something of a fortune. Act of Treason. Now this is cool. This would be a great little wrench to throw into your story, either to begin your story with or maybe later on in the story, that somebody has in fact committed an act of treason against one of the leaders in your story. Really cool idea there. Rookie Mistake. Look at this. We maybe you're trying to carry off some skill, or you're trying to do something and you slip and you fall, or you do some sort of simple mistake that can really have important consequences. That's a really cool picture. I really like that one. Or Voyage's End. Look at this picture. Now let's say your group is on the river, a river somewhere, heading off to some destination, and suddenly now there is a shift in the waters, and you realize that the group is approaching a waterfall. Think of all the exciting things that you could come up with in that story. Clay Statue. Maybe the group comes across a statue, and the statue for some reason comes to life, or maybe the statue has some sort of mystery that the group has to figure out, some sort of riddle. Lots of possibilities there. Scroll Thief. Oh, this is cool. Maybe there is a thief that comes into one of the buildings where the group is. They steal a scroll that the group needs, or something that the group is looking for, and suddenly now you have a competition for that scroll. Fatigue. Now here is a cool card. Your group suddenly gets extremely tired and begins to fall asleep, or your hero falls asleep. Why is that the case? Use your imagination and try and develop that story a little bit more. Here is a cool Springjaw Trap. I like this idea. Traps are always cool things to introduce to your story. Suddenly now your hero comes across a trap. The hero gets stuck. What happens then? Are they overtaken by hunters, or is there something else going on? A bartered cow. Wow, now this is interesting. Maybe there is something going on in the marketplace, that somebody is selling a cow, and there's something special about this cow, or something special about the person selling it. I mean, that could really be an interesting story. Send to Sleep. Your group begins to fall asleep, or maybe you are the village you're in has been put under a sleep spell by a wizard. I mean, that's a really cool idea there as well. Goblin Digging Team. Let's say that you are walking along and suddenly a wall breaks, or a bridge breaks, or a floor breaks, and a group of goblins emerges. Why are the goblins there? What are they doing? How can you respond to it? Lots of ideas there. Look at this, a missionary guy out proclaiming his good words about his god or goddess. How could you interact with this person in an interesting way? There's a lot of different religious aspects you could add to your story for your characters when they engage with this religious person. Oh, wow. Magmatic Chasm. Just look at this picture. This picture alone is just enough to come up with something extremely exciting. Either something your character does, or maybe something another character does, or an enemy does, a foe. Same thing with Seismic Stomp. Just a really cool picture. Lots of ideas can come out of that. Seasoned Tactician. Maybe this is an NPC the group comes across who has some important vital information for their task or their quest. A chance for you to role play and to really do some interesting voices, come up with some ideas for that. Volshok Morningstar, stuff like this is great. There are tons of pictures of these kind of weapons and things like that. Maybe this is something that your group is looking for. Maybe it's something that your group finds. Maybe it's something that your group is attacked with. Maybe this is something that your hero becomes proficient with and gives you a bonus when you attack. I mean, you can definitely come up with tons of ideas about that. Vaporkin, always cool ideas with misty folks who come out of the swamps. Crosstown Courier, maybe a message comes to your character, or maybe you have to stop the courier from delivering a message. Now that would be a cool idea as well. Maybe the courier is carrying a very important message about the treachery that has happened, and you need to step in and stop that. Really cool idea there. Eviscerate, the picture says enough. I mean, wow, that is a really cool picture that could really get you into some interesting prompts. Vessel of Paramnesia. Wow, that is a cool picture. That is an item, an artifact, an object that maybe you need to steal or maybe you need to destroy. Maybe it's located in some castle or a wizard's tower. You need to get up there and destroy it because it has some sort of power. Really cool. Court Hussar, we have a guy riding in on a flag or on a horse with a banner. Maybe there is an announcement that is made, or royalty enters your story in some way. Maybe you were given a new task, a new direction to go in. Doom Traveler, here is an interesting picture as well. You run across this traveler and he has some interesting things to contribute to your character. Maybe he wants to give you a prophecy of sorts that would help your story or narrative along. Run with that. Vial of Dragonfire. Maybe this is something that your group is looking for, your hero is looking for. Maybe this is something that your character has. Maybe this is something your character buys. Maybe it's something they get in a local potion shop. It's totally something you could work with that. Sip of Hemlock. Maybe, oh man, this is cool. Maybe at some point in the story, your hero is poisoned at a tavern, and your hero falls asleep, or it goes unconscious, or maybe takes a ton of damage and he comes to the point of death. Maybe your hero wakes up then in the next instant and there is something more going on in the story. Silent Observer, look at this. Something comes outside of the window where you are staying and is looking in and observing you. Is it a spy? Is it a ghost? I mean, you really use your imagination to develop that. Bountiful Harvest. Look at this. You could have a farming aspect, a gardening aspect of your story that is extremely important. Maybe you need to make some money and you need to work on some crops. You stay at a particular place for a season and work. I mean, that's a possibility. You could drag your campaign out as long as you want. Cast into Darkness, another amazing picture. Mending Touch. Maybe you have to revitalize somebody as part of your task. More Vaporkin, we looked at that already. Look at something like this, Saving Grasp. Now let's say that you are coming along and all of a sudden you fall off of the side of a cliff or something happens and someone is there suddenly now to save you. Who is this person? Why did they save you? What do they want in return? That is an incredible prompt. That's actually one of the cooler ones I've seen. Man, here's another good one. Soul Stair Expedition. Tons of cool ideas that can come out of that. The pirate ship. This is amazing. Maybe your campaign suddenly now needs to take a turn in a nautical direction and you have a pirate ship waiting for you, or maybe you're captives on a pirate ship. You are taken captive. Who knows? I mean, that's super exciting. Sleeping Potion, similar thing. I mean, Joven's tools. I mean, here's some tools. You can find them, you can have them, you can use them. Definitely an interesting component to add to your game. More boats to take your story in a different direction. Piper's Melody. Maybe you have to lead out animals from a city, or perhaps this is something that is going on. Maybe there is a local musician or bard who has a special role in your campaign. On and on and on, Lost in a Labyrinth. You can see that there are so many possibilities with these cards. Each of these pictures gives us a incredibly unique prompt that can really take our narrative in an interesting direction. The only thing for you to do now is to use your imagination and really use these prompts and develop them in any direction you want. Be as free as you can, as creative as you can. Don't overthink them, but just take the first thing that pops into your mind and really work with it. I mean, this is some ways are kind of a a very fancy way of using tarot cards in some sense, and you're using the pictures just to help push along your narrative. So many options here. With 1,000 cards, you're going to have a ton of pictures. So go ahead and pull out the best ones and use them for your solo role-playing game to give you great prompts. Well, there you have it, folks. Just a quick run through of some of the cards that we have received in our 1,000 card batch, and an example of how you can brainstorm with these cards with the pictures in order to give you narrative prompts for your solo role-playing games. If you appreciate this kind of content, please do give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, and I will continue to make more content for solo role-playing. And most importantly, thank you for joining us here today at Grey Army Gaming for the future of gaming.